So the first example I'm gonna give you is about multiplication. Oh, subtraction. Sorry. So we have one complex number, subtract another complex number. Okay, I'll give you guys 1 or 2 minutes to complete this problem. Okay, that's what we learned, right, from our last class.
Is that 2i or 7i?
2i, negative 3 minus 2i.
It's 1 plus 3i.
You mean the first one or second one?
No, the answer.
Oh, you got it. You got it. Fantastic. Good job.
Thank you.
Okay, I'm gonna show you. I bet if you read the notes, most of you should get it. So let's take a look at this problems. This complex number, subtract this complex number. So we wanna remove, right? Remove the parentheses. Yeah, parentheses. Oh, sorry, this is not the multiplication. So here's a negative. That means we need to change the sign for each term, right? So here is negative 3 gonna be a positive 3. Here the negative 2i gonna be a positive 2i, right? And then combine the real parts and combine the imaginary part. Right, that's it. Okay, very simple. Now let's try the multiplication. Okay, negative 2i, negative 2 plus I times negative 3 minus 3i. Then you can use your distribution. You can just treat the I like X. Okay, if you treat the I like X, distribution, everything should be very straightforward. Okay, and the only difference between the polynomial multiplication and the complex multiplication is I squared equals -1. Okay, that's the only difference.
Answer is 6.
I didn't check the answer yet. Let's see. Let's see it later. Okay. I didn't solve it. You're done? Great. Okay, I'm gonna write down the answer on board. So we're gonna use distribution. Distribution. We have -2 times -3. -2 times -3 plus -2 times -3i. Because we have negative sign, so I always put the parentheses here in case we make mistake, right? That's the rule. Oh, that's my habit actually. I times -3 plus I times -3i. Right? So just put the parentheses here. Yeah, add everything together. Okay, that's much simple. Otherwise, you guys probably gonna make mistake with the sign. I'm pretty sure some of you gonna make a mistake with the sign. Okay. So -6, 6i, -3i. Here is -3i squared. Okay, -3i squared. And as we know that 3i -3 I squared equals -1. Right? So we're gonna get what? -3 -1 +3. +3 plus 6, 9. And the imaginary part is 3, right? So it should be a 9 plus 3i. Okay, 9 plus 3i. I'm gonna give you guys another example. This time, I bet most of you guys should get it. We already practiced so many examples. So
Is that 1 minus I?
1 minus I. Yeah, you're right. I think it should be easy for most of you guys because you at the first step you just like treat the I like an X. So it's like the polynomial multiplication. Polynomial multiplication. Just do the distribution. That's the strategy.
4, yeah, negative 1, and 4, 5, 6, 7, that's a negative 7. Oh, shit. Negative 1, negative 7i.
I'm not so sure about the answer. Let's solve it together. Okay, so let me solve it. This most of you guys at least get something right. Although some of you may not get the right answer. Okay, so let's go forward. All right, distribution. So 3 times 1 plus 3 times negative I. All right, the second term, negative 4i times 1 plus negative 4i times negative I. Okay, but when you do the distribution, basically, what are you gonna do? What are you gonna see? Here is two terms. One is 3 negative 4i. Here is a 1 negative I. Okay, you treat the 3 as one term, and the negative 4i is another term. Right? You treat the 1 is one term, and then treat negative I is another term. So 3 times 1, 3 times second term is negative I, right? So second term here is negative 4i times 1, and negative 4i times second term going to be a negative 4i times negative I. Okay, so just treat the whole things. Negative 4i is another term. Include the sign. Okay, include the sign. So when you do the distribution, this term has this term, this term has this term, this term has this term, this term has this term. That's it. And then do the summation, right? Do the summation. Okay. Then I'm pretty sure most of you guys should get it right. Okay. Most of you guys should get it right. Also, some of you may have different way to solve the distribution. If you can get the right answer, you can keep your style, okay? But if you couldn't get the right answer, just follow my way, okay? So this guy is 3, negative 3i, negative 4i. Here's negative, negative, positive, 4i squared. Right? Then 3 negative 3i, negative 4i, 4 times negative 1. Okay. And then 3 negative 4, negative 1, negative 3i, negative 4i, negative 7i. That's it. Okay, very good. I think you got it, right? Good job, good job. Fantastic. Okay, now let's move on. What else we learned from last class? We learned an important definition about what? Conjugates, right? Conjugates. Conjugates. So definition of the conjugates is what? If I give you a plus bi, the conjugate gonna be what? What? Come on, guys, it's very simple.
0.
A minus BR.
A minus bi, just change the sign of the imaginary part. That's it. Very simple. Just change the sign. If the b is positive, then negative. If b is negative, positive. That's it. Clear? Very simple, right? Now I'm gonna give you guys some examples.
What was that example called? What was it? What section did it fall under?
What is the example called? What do you mean? This here?
Is it subtraction, multiplication, that type of example?
Oh, you mean here? It's multiplication.
No, what we were just doing, but what is the process of it? Is it? I know it's not multiplication, and I know it's not subtraction. So, like, which one of them? Which one of the examples is it?
Multiplication we did. That's what we did all is about the multiplication. Here's a multiplication. Here's a multiplication. And here is subtraction. That's the example we did.
What is the last example?
This one?
No, the one right up on that.
Oh, this one? This one we're gonna start with the conjugate because we learned the conjugate.
Okay.
Yeah. So if I give you 2 minus 3i, what is conjugate? Very simple, right? Good job, good job. 2 plus 3i, right? Just opposites, okay? Very simple, very straightforward, right? Now I'm gonna give you guys a tricky one. If z equals 3, what is conjugate?
-3.
-3? Are you sure?
I think.
What's the definition of a conjugate? Conjugate, we're gonna change the sign of imaginary part. Do we have an imaginary part here? No, so will be itself, right? That's the real part. And because 3 can write down as 3 plus 0i,
Right.
the imaginary part is 0, right?
Yes.
If you change the sign, doesn't matter. It's still gonna be a real part, 3i, or 3, right? Agree?
Yes, sir.
That's the tricky part. I know some of you are gonna make a mistake, but I want you guys understand the definition very clearly. It's only about imaginary parts, okay? Okay, now let's, today we're gonna talk of a very important theorem. And probably that's the first theorem you learned from this class. If we have z plus, we let z equals a plus bi, we have a plus bi times a minus bi, right? So z times its conjugate gonna be a plus bi times a minus bi. We just change the sign of b, right? It's a conjugate. And this guy gonna give you a squared plus b squared. That's the formula you needed to learn, you needed to know, okay? And the best way you can just memorize it, okay? Memorize it. That's the first important formula for the complex number, okay? If a complex number times its conjugate equals the real part square plus the imaginary part square, okay? Real part square plus imaginary part square. Nothing to do with I, okay? You're gonna get a real number. Okay, a squared plus b squared. Some of you give me a squared plus b squared, I squared. That's wrong. It's a squared, real part squared plus imaginary part squared. Okay, clear? Very good. Of course, I can prove it. If I give you a theorem, you need to prove it. Then you can check whether it's true or not. Proof. Okay, let's prove it. Okay, of course, we're gonna use the property, the multiplication, right? So we're gonna do the distribution. Okay, so a times a plus a times negative bi, right? The first term times first term times second term. And the second term times a, second term times second term. Okay, when you have the negative term, always use parentheses. Make sure everything gets right. Okay, now you can simplify it. A times a squared is negative abi, is abi. Here's b, negative b squared I. All right, and a squared abi plus abi b squared. Sorry, here should be I squared. Okay, negative 1. Okay, I squared equals negative 1. And then negative, negative, positive. So here we can combine the real part, gonna be a squared plus b squared. The imaginary part can be cancel out. Okay, cancel out. So that means this formula is right, which is prove it. We use that distribution, prove that formula is right. Now you can memorize it, right? Memorize it. Okay, so I'm gonna give you guys some examples. The first example is 1 minus 2i. Okay, so if z equal to 1 minus 2i, then calculate z times the z bar. Okay, so what are we gonna do? Put it here. So z times z bar gonna be 1 minus 2i times the conjugate, change the sign. Okay, now we're gonna use the formula. We can use the formula. Of course, you can use the distribution, still get the result. But now I strongly advise you guys use the formula because it's gonna help you to remember the or memorize the formula. Okay, each time when you use it, and it's gonna refresh your mind. It's gonna help you to memorize the formula. Okay, each time when you use it, and it's gonna help you to memorize it. Okay, that's the point. So here a is 1. A is 1. What is b? Negative 2. Be careful. Imaginary parts. Okay, it's negative 2. It's not 2. Okay, negative 2. So here should be a squared 1 squared negative 2. B squared is negative 2, right? So follow the formula. As long as you get what is a, what is b, then just plug in a squared plus b squared. Everything should be very straightforward. So 1 plus 4 equals 5. Okay. Now I want you guys try it. try this one for me. Did you get it? What's the answer? 10? Good job, good job. Fantastic. Very, very smart. That's right. Huh? I will work out later. It should be very easy if you know the real part, imaginary part, right? And plug in real part square plus imaginary part square. That's it. Okay, I'm gonna do it on board. So I have z times z bar, right? -1 times -3i, -1 plus 3i. Right? So here is A is what? -1. B is what? -3. Okay, very good. So A squared plus B squared gonna be -1 squared plus B squared, right? Very straightforward. So plug in the formula, right? Plug in the formula. So 1 plus 9, 10. That's it. Okay. So I give you guys last example. Oh, sorry. I don't like this example. Try this one. So here you can see 3 plus 4i, assume that is a z, right? And here we just see the only difference here is plus and minus. So that means if this guy is a z, this guy is the conjugate. 3 minus 4i is the conjugate, right? Okay, I'm gonna show you the answer on board. So we know this guy, assume this guy is a Z, and this guy is a Z bar, right? That's the conjugate. So basically you're gonna do is find the real part. A is 3, B is 4. So 3 square plus 4 square. Right? 3 square plus 4 square. 9 plus 16 equals 25. That's it. Right? Very straightforward. Real part square plus imaginary part square. That's it. So idea is very simple. Find the A, find the B, find the A. Okay, is that clear? More examples? Let's move on, okay? Oh, the reason I teach you guys with this formula, it's quite important when we transform a fraction. When there is a complex number in the denominator, how to transform this guy to a standard form, a plus bi. Let's take a look at an example. Right. Right. In standard form, a plus bi. Or what we can say is how to rationalize this fraction to standard form, a plus bi. Here, basically the idea is we want to remove the I from the denominator. We want to remove that I, okay? That's our strategy. How to remove it? We're gonna use the formula here. Here we can say we have I here, but after we do the multiplication, we get a real number. There's no I, right? So the same things we can do for this fraction. We let the denominator times its conjugate. We let the denominator times its conjugate. Okay, so let's take a look. We have 1 minus or 1 over 3 plus 4i. We let denominator times conjugate. That will be 3 minus 4i. Okay, means you let the denominator times a number or complex number, numerator should times the same number. Okay, that's the same strategy. That's the things we try to remove the I. Okay, remove the I, and that's the first step. Times its conjugate for the denominator. Okay, first step. Second step. Since this guy, assume this guy is Z, this is a conjugate, right? So what is A? 3 plus, what is the real part? That's it. That's the formula, right? We just learned. So for the numerator, 1 times this guy gonna be itself, right? Doesn't matter. 1 times 3, 1 times -4i gonna be -4i. All right. Is that clear for you guys? The key part is here. We use the formula. We use the formula. Real part square plus imaginary part square. That's it. That's it. Okay. Now we're gonna get 9 plus 16. And this guy is 3 minus 4i, 25. All right. Now things we need to write down is a plus bi. We can spread. We can spread these two terms, 3 and negative 4i. So we can write down as 3, 4i. Okay. Do you understand? We can spread these two terms. Usually what you do is use a common denominator, do the subtraction, right? And the common denominator, 3 minus 4i. Now it's a reverse process. I want to spread these two terms. Spread these two terms. Okay? Clear to you? Very good. Very good. Now we get a very standard form. That is a plus bi. A is this guy, 3 over 25. And b is negative 4 over 25. Okay, standard form. Now we put, there's no I in the denominator. No I in the denominator. Our mission is completed. Okay, our mission is completed. Now, I'm gonna give you guys another example. Okay, 1 over negative 3 minus 2i. Let's do it again. Okay, let's follow the step. So first step, we let the denominator times its conjugate, right? Conjugate. Oh, sorry, it's conjugate. The conjugate of this guy should be change the sign of imaginary part, right? That's the first step. Okay, times the conjugate, and then use the formula. What is real part? Negative 3. What is imaginary part? Negative 2. So for the denominator, going to be a negative 3 square plus negative 2 square. Very straightforward, as long as you understand the formula. And for the denominator, numerator should be itself, right? Times 1, right? Times 1. And then we can simplify it. 9 plus 4, negative 3 plus 2i. We have 13, right? Then we can spread these two terms. We have okay, we have this one. Here, now I'm gonna give you guys an example. Let you guys try it. So example 6. Okay, write down this standard form, and the numerator is 3, denominator is 1 minus 2i. Okay. So follow the step. Let the denominator times its conjugate. Okay, so 1 minus 2i. Yeah, 1 minus 2i.
3/5 plus 6/5I.
I didn't pick the answer yet. Sorry. I don't have the answer yet, so I'm gonna solve it later. I bet most of you guys already get it. So let's finish it on board together, right? So the first step times the conjugate, right? Conjugate. 3 conjugates, right? The same number. And for the numerator, we just find the A, find the B is -2, right? So we have 1 square plus -2 square. Clear? 1 square plus B square, A square plus B square, right? And for the denominator, use the distribution. We do a lot of times, right? Distribution, 3 times 2i, 3 times 1, 3 times 2i, right? And then we got the 3 plus 6i, 1 plus 4 will be 5. Then we're gonna spread it. Okay, 3/5 plus 6/5i. Okay, that's it. Now I'm gonna give you another example. I divided by -2 plus I. Well, you don't need to care about the numerator, okay? How to rationalize the numerator. Numerator doesn't matter. What you're gonna do is the same things. Let the denominator times the conjugate. Numerator just do the distribution, right? Distribution. That's it. Okay. Did you get the answer?
Wait, is that an I on top of the numerator?
Yeah, that's the I.
Yes, sir.
Okay, I'm gonna write down the answer on board. The same things. Let the denominator times conjugate. So that means numerator times conjugate. Well, it's the same value. That's the first step. That's the first step. And for the denominator, what is A? What is B? A is -2 square plus 1 square. And for the numerator, gonna be a distribution, right? We did a lot of times before. I times -2 plus I times -I. Right? Distribution, right? Distribution. So we have what? We have -2i, -I squared. Here's 4 plus 1. Okay. -2i minus -1 because the I squared equals -1. For the denominator, going to be very straightforward. Just 4 plus 1 equals 5. Now here is negative, negative, positive. So 1 minus 2i, that's the real part. And divided by 5. Spread these two terms. Right? 1/5 minus 2/5i. Okay, that's the answer. That's the answer. Okay, now I'm gonna give you guys another one. Question.
When you get on the second part of the problem, where does that I come from?
Here, second part. Oh, this one?
Yeah, on the top part.
Oh, the top
I thought
part
it was supposed to be 2.
should be I. Here's the I, right? That's the I. Okay.
Could you go back to that example one more time for me?
Did you copy it?
Yes, sir.
Okay. Two I divided by -2 minus 3i. the same thing. Follow the similar steps. Right? Multiplication. That's a typical example. Combine the multiplication and the formula. Right? For the numerator, we do the multiplication distribution, and for the denominator, we do the formula a squared plus b squared. That's it. We just combine these two together, right? Together. And I prefer this type of problem because you can learn two different things: multiplication and a squared plus b squared. Right? Okay, I'm gonna do it on board. Times conjugate. Since this times this number, we need a times this number for the numerator. That's the first step, right? First step. And the second step, just calculate. For the denominator, -2, -3. So -2 squared plus -3 squared. And that's it, right? A squared plus b squared. Very straightforward. And for the numerator and distribution, right? 2i times -2 plus 2i times 3i. The left work gonna be simplification. Simplification, right? 4 plus 9, right? And 2 -2 -4i plus 6i squared. -4i, 6 times -1, 13, right? 13. So we have -6 minus 4i, 13. Spread these two, spread it. Very straightforward, okay? Plus what? Could you say that again?
If you write the answer as plus -4/39.
So negative plus, plus like that? Oh yeah, it's the same thing. Yeah. So some of you would prefer the different formats. It's okay for me. It's okay, but I'm not so sure about my math lab. My math lab probably will not accept this answer. I don't know. Because my math lab have a specific format requirement. Okay, sometimes just stupid. It's clearly right, but also always give you the wrong indication. Okay, let's continue. This time I'm gonna give you another example. Example 8. Okay. So how to calculate? How to calculate 1 plus I divided 2 minus 5. Let me do it on board firstly. So now the numerator, denominator both have the complex number. The same thing. Don't be scared. Don't be scared. Okay, because we have complex number on the numerator. So the same things. Let the denominator times conjugate. Okay, and then the then the numerator times the same things. Okay, so that's the first step, right? The same things. So the second step gonna be the 2 square negative 5 square, because A is 2, B is negative 5, right? Now distribution for the numerator, right? Distribution. So 1 times 2, 1 times 5i, I times 2, I times 5i, right? And we practice several times, right, for the multiplication. You should master it very well. For the numerator, gonna be this guy. For the denominator, gonna be 4 plus 25, 29, and here's 7i, and here is 5 times negative 1. Okay, and we can continue to simplify this guy. 2 minus 5, negative 3, 29. And we're gonna split the answer. That's it. That's it. So the idea is very simple. Times the conjugate. Okay. Then for the numerator, distribution. Polynomial multiplication, right? Distribution. And for the denominator, gonna be a squared plus b squared. That's it. Okay. We combine 2 problems together. We combine 2 problems together, right? Okay. Now, I want you guys try. This one for me. 1 minus I divided by 3 minus 4i. Okay, I don't have much time left, so I need to finish it. So let's take a look at these problems. And this guy times conjugate. Right, times conjugate for the numerator distribution. For the denominator, it will be 3 squared plus b squared, right? Just write down the formula: 3 squared, a squared plus b squared, right? And 1 times 3, 1 times 4i, negative I times 3, negative I times 4i, right? Distribution. And then you can simplify it. 9 plus 16, right? 3 plus 4i minus 3i, negative 4i squared. So negative I times 4i, right? So here is I, negative 4 times negative 1, 25. And of course, negative 4, negative 1 are 4. 7 plus I divided by 25, right? And then spread these two. Gonna be 7 over 27, 25 plus 1 over 25i. Okay, the spread is these two. That's it. I'm gonna wrap it up across here. If you still feel a little bit confused, please read the notes after class. I strongly suggest you guys practice more after class. If you just practice the things during the class, probably is not enough. Okay, I can't guarantee you can make it. You need to spend more time. Okay, that's it.